Welcome back to the kitchen. I'm very excited for today's video. This is a very, very special video for a couple reasons. First reason being that this video will be coming out in time to potentially change your Thanksgiving feast this year. And the second big reason is this is a user requested video from the wonderful people who follow me on TikTok. We just recently hit that 2,000 follower goal. And as a way of giving back, we did a live stream earlier in the month. And I let the request lines be open and let them decide. I had them give me requests of what they wanted to see me make. And this is the answer to all of that. So for everyone who participated in that live stream on the 6th, thank you so very much. Sabrina, this one is for you. You gave me a lot of great inspiration and great ideas. This recipe that I came up with tonight is a combination of a couple of the ideas you've given me. Love you so much. Thank you for participating and thank you for always being there. Now, guys, on YouTube, if you have not yet followed me on TikTok, I have a link in the description to the page. It's the same content you get here, heavily edited, but I'm a little more successful on TikTok. And guys, if you want to see a request video happen on YouTube, for YouTube, we need to hit a milestone. So whenever we hit 100 subscribers on this channel, I will open up the polls and you get to decide what I make. Tonight, we're doing something completely different. No savory food. I'm going to be leveling up your dessert game. We're going to be making a from-scratch pumpkin cheesecake. So enough talking. Let's get started. All right, so what I have here is a cup and a half of graham cracker crumbs that I crushed myself. All this is one sleeve of honey grams. Just regular honey-made honey grams that I crushed up, put in the blender, and grated. So 1 pack equals 1.5 cups. So this is freshly grated graham cracker crumbs. You don't need to buy anything pre-made. So we're making the crust from scratch. And to this, we are going to be adding 7 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're going to dump that right in and get it combined. We're going to make sure all this batter is getting moist and that it's all equally hydrated. You want it to kind of resemble wet sand. And this actually smells remarkable just being the butter and the graham crackers. But we want to kick it up a little bit because we can do better. So I'm going to be adding to this 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar to incorporate some fall flavors in here. Because you got to think pumpkin, cinnamon, sugar. Brown sugar just makes sense. We want this thing to be a cohesive bite from crust to top. This is the first dessert I've done for this channel too. I do plan on doing more. So guys, let me know what you think of this recipe. And any more dessert ideas I am definitely will be open to. Alright, and since these are just the regular honey grams, I want to kick this up with just a little taste of ground cinnamon. Not a whole lot. And then a pinch of kosher salt because I have unsalted butter. Just enough to bring out the taste, so don't give me the stink face. And we're just going to get this to where it's all evenly combined. And that looks pretty good here. So the way you know your graham crackers are viable for a crust is if you can roll them up like this without it falling apart. And that's what we got here. So let's go ahead and mold our crust. All right, so what I have here is a 9-inch springform pan, and I've cut out a round of parchment to line the bottom to make sure that the crust doesn't crack and that it can expand fully. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and add our cracker crust to the bottom of this. And then we're just going to go ahead and start spreading it out with the bottom of this cup. We don't want any lumps in the bottom of this, so we got to make sure it's smooth. No lumps, no gaps, no bald spots. Make sure everything is covered and covered evenly. Now that everything is perfectly even, like so, we're going to be blind baking this. This is the actual first cheesecake I've ever made, but I've done a lot of research on this. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven on 350 for about 10 minutes. Just enough to get this solidified. Alright, so while we're waiting on our graham cracker crust to par bake, we are going to go ahead and get our cream cheese filling started. And this is 2 blocks of regular cream cheese, full fat. I want to go ahead and start getting this blended off and creamed off. We're just going to do this over a medium speed. Alright, and while that's working off, I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then I want to add in 3/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And for that extra fall flavor, a quarter of a cup of light brown sugar. And you got to keep in mind, we're going to be using some of this batter to mix with that pumpkin puree. So this is going to help sweeten that up a little bit too. We're just going to wait till that gets really well combined. We're not trying to rush this process. We want to make sure all that brown sugar is combined and incorporated and broken up. Our graham cracker crust is done, pre-baking, and it looks marvelous, so we're going to let that cool down to room temp. And the reason why we're doing that is to prevent it from cracking or breaking. And I'm going to stop this blend for just a second to kind of go over that chunk of brown sugar that I'm seeing here. We don't want any chunks or lumps. And keep in mind, all these ingredients, like the cream cheese, and we're about to add eggs here in a second, all that stuff needs to be at room temp. Otherwise, you're going to have a really chunky cream cheese. So I want to let that break up a little bit longer, because I'm still seeing some solid pieces of brown sugar in there. Alright, now that those are starting to disappear, I want to add in a 1/2 cup of creme fraiche. Now this is also the part where you can add sour cream. And guys, don't worry if you can't find creme fraiche. That Mexican table cream is literally the same thing. And all this is going to do is give it a little extra oomph and depth of flavor. Now easily this could be substituted with a 1/2 cup of cream cheese, sour cream. And I'm just going to make sure that gets all in there, well incorporated. Give it a couple more turns. And then we're going to stop because we're going to start adding in our eggs one by one. And that looks beautiful. So what I've done here is I've just lightly beaten 1 egg. And we're just going to add it in one at a time. And then we're just going to combine this in slowly until it's just incorporated. What you don't want to do is over whip the eggs, because then it's going to turn into a souffle. And you're going to have a really mealy or really inconsistent, really texturally not good cheesecake. Alright. And then we want to do the same thing. to shut this thing off and we're going to go to our next step. Alright guys, now we're at our next step. This is where things kind of come together a little bit. So this is a half a cup of pumpkin puree. This is kind of where both Food Lion and Walmart let me down. I was actually planning to buy a pie pumpkin, roast it off and show you guys how to make a homemade puree, but no one around here has pie pumpkins, so I settled for the 100% puree. Guys, please be careful when shopping for this. One of the biggest scams out there is pumpkin puree in the cans not actually being pumpkin. Most often it's probably going to be butternut squash. This claims to be 100% pumpkin. Smells it, tastes it. So this is not the filling, this is just a puree. We're going to make our own pumpkin spice. So that's where we're going to level this up. So what we're going to do is take 1 cup of our custard. And we're going to put it into our pumpkin puree. Oh, that tastes good. So let's mix this up real quick. And now I want to introduce you to the beast that is my homemade pumpkin spice. I'm just going to mix this until it's just completely smooth. Again, no lumps. Alright, so what I've got here is 3 tablespoons of ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of ginger, 2 teaspoons of nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of clove, and 1 teaspoon of allspice. And we're going to put in a teaspoon and a half of that. We want that strong pumpkin flavor to come through. Now that smells like pumpkin pie right there. That is right. So I'm already excited because this smells like it's going to be absolutely freaking fantastic. We got this brown sugar cheesecake filling. We've got this pumpkin pie cheesecake filling on top. We've got this homemade crust. I'm really psyched about this, y'all. I hope you guys are too. So what we're waiting on now is for this to cool down the rest of the way. It needs about another 5 minutes and we'll assemble it. All right. So this pie crust is fully cooled down. The sheet is cold. And we're just going to go ahead and take our cheesecake base, the brown sugar cheesecake base, and we're just going to go ahead and start slowly pouring that in. And we're just going to spread it around. Make sure that every crevice is getting touched here. This is going to be like a double tier, 2-tier sort of cheesecake. And I've already greased up the sides of this baking sheet. This spring form. So we should be good to go. I mean, this smells absolutely phenomenal. I'm not exaggerating in the slightest when I tell you I'm fighting every urge to eat this raw. And we're just going to take our beautiful pumpkin cheesecake, spread it out. All over the top. We're just going to swirl it. some nice designs in there. And this is going to look bomb when it comes out. So let me show you what I got going on here. Well, I'll take some photos before I put it in, and I'll show you what this thing looks like. We're going to put it in the oven on 325. We're going to check it in about 40 minutes. But we don't want to cook this any longer than about 45. All right, it's been 40 minutes, and it's time to see if this cheesecake is ready to roll. Biggest thing we're looking for here is if the sides are set, and they are. You're supposed to have a little jiggle in the middle, and we do, which means we're done. All right, so this did crack just slightly. It's not beyond repair. It doesn't look like there's any major cosmetic flaws with this. I think the main issue that happened here today was the fact that I did not have a hand mixer, and that I blended all the ingredients into that stand mixer, and I think it may have over whipped the ingredients, which caused the cracking today. Now, I want to give you an overhead of this. This cheesecake is done. The sides are set. We do have a little motion in the middle without it being too much. And what we're going to do is we're going to let this cool down. We're going to put it in the fridge overnight, and we're going to try it tomorrow and see how it turned out. All right, so this is the moment everyone's been waiting for. And honest to God, you guys, next day didn't happen because I just really haven't been feeling good between that and my work being crazy. This whole video has taken me all week to do. I still don't feel really great, but we're going to do a reveal. So this is the moment we've all been waiting for. How good is this cheesecake? All right, so technically this is day 2 of the cheesecake. And we're going to get this little spring form off. And good Lord, it's already half gone, if that doesn't tell you anything. So we're just going to go ahead and try it on camera. And I'll let you guys know how it is. Honest to God, I was really hoping for this video to be out today, but it just didn't work like that. Alright, so that's a view. It did crack a little more while it was in the fridge. This is phenomenal. You guys, this is a 10 out of 10, obviously, because this pie has been picked apart, it's been eaten, and this is only within 2 days of me making it, so you know it's good. Now, for this being my first cheesecake, I will say, if I had used a hand mixer instead of a stand mixer to make this, I think the end result would not have cracked nearly as much. Also, I feel like we need to reduce the amount of creme fraiche that we used in this recipe. Instead of half a cup, let's go to 1/4 of a cup. Although it looked like it was pretty much done when we pulled it out the other night, it's still a little loose on the inside, so I think there was just a little too much liquid going on. So if you reduce the creme fraiche to about 1/4 of a cup, this should be a little more solid. Now, the outside coming in was beautiful. You ain't going to really need a water bath for this particular cheesecake. And what's great is since we made that graham cracker crust, and we blind baked it, it's got this great crunch, and texturally it's also a 10 out of 10. You get a lot of those earthy tones from the cinnamon, that brown sugar, and then you even get a little bit of that salt coming through, because keep in mind, we only used unsalted butter making the crust, and you get just enough of that to break through some of that heavy, dense, rich flavors, and this pumpkin is really, really fresh tasting. It's like the best pumpkin pie you've ever had. Hands down, this is a success. I wish it looked better and wasn't exactly picked apart, but it is what it is. You guys need to make this. It disappeared mostly within 2 days. For more desserts, just comment down below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell. I am thankful for all of you, YouTube and TikTok alike. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I'll see you guys later.